Selina barely slept that night. Every small sound inside the mansion made her sit upright in panic. A closing door, footsteps in the hallway, the hum of the air conditioner. Her body had become too used to tension. Peace felt suspicious. Before dawn, she was already awake, arranging the small room repeatedly just to calm her nerves. By the time the other staff members entered the kitchen, she had cleaned the counters twice. A thick woman with tired eyes walked in and stopped abruptly. "You're the new girl?" Selina nodded quickly. "Yes, Ma." The woman scoffed. "Don't call me Ma. I'm not that old. I'm BC." Another worker entered behind her carrying vegetables. "She's the one Madame brought yesterday." BC nodded. "The memory lost girl." Selina lowered her eyes immediately. The second woman looked her over curiously. "You really don't remember anything?" Selina forced a weak smile. "Not much." The woman dropped the vegetables on the counter. "Well, if your memory comes back and you remember how to become rich, don't forget us." They laughed lightly and moved on. Selina tried to smile too, but guilt tightened around her chest. Every lie she told felt heavier than the last. By afternoon, she had scrubbed bathrooms, washed dishes, cleaned the dining room, and ironed clothes until her back ached. Yet, strangely, she preferred the exhaustion. Physical pain was easier than emotional pain. At least this pain made sense. As she carried laundry upstairs later that evening, voices drifted from one of the rooms. "You can't keep rescuing random people, Mom." A male voice, calm but firm. Selina slowed unconsciously. "She's not random," Mrs. Alade replied. "The girl clearly needs help." "And what if she's lying?" A pause followed. Selina's stomach tightened. Mrs. Alade sighed softly. "Then time will expose the truth." Selina moved away quickly before they saw her listening, but the words stayed in her head. Then time will expose the truth. That night, she stared at herself in the small mirror above her bed. "Who are you now?" she whispered. Amina? Selina? A liar? A survivor? She didn't know anymore. The next few days passed in strict routine. Work, silence, observation. Mrs. Alade remained distant but fair. She corrected mistakes sharply, yet never insulted her. That alone felt unfamiliar. One afternoon, while unpacking groceries in the storage room, Selina noticed an empty carton lying nearby. Without thinking much, she picked up a pen from the shelf and began sketching absent-mindedly. Lines flowed naturally. A woman standing in heavy rain, a face filled with exhaustion, eyes carrying hidden pain. Selina became so lost in the drawing, she didn't hear footsteps approaching. "What is this?" She nearly jumped. Mrs. Alade stood behind her, staring at the carton. Selina immediately hid it behind her back. "I'm sorry, Ma. I was just... Show me." Selina hesitated. Slowly, she handed it over. Mrs. Alade studied the sketch silently. The older woman's expression changed slightly. "Did you draw this?" "Yes, Ma." "You've done art before?" I don't know." That part was accidentally true. She had always loved drawing as a child, but life buried it so deeply she almost forgot. Mrs. Alade looked at the sketch again. "You drew emotion?" Selina blinked. "What?" "Most people draw faces," Mrs. Alade said quietly. "You drew pain." Something about the statement unsettled her deeply. Before Selina could respond, another voice entered. "Well, that's impressive." She turned quickly. A tall man stood by the door holding car keys. Darren Alade, Mrs. Alade's son. He looked slightly older than her, dressed casually but confidently. His eyes stayed on the sketch. "You did that on cardboard?" Selina lowered her gaze immediately. "I'm sorry, sir." "Why are you apologizing?" His tone surprised her. Mrs. Alade handed him the carton. Darren stared at it carefully. Then he looked back at Selina. You've got talent. The compliment hit awkwardly against years of criticism. Selina didn't know how to respond. Mrs. Alade folded her arms thoughtfully. How far did you go in school? Selina hesitated. Secondary school. Did you finish? No, ma. Mrs. Alade exchanged a look with Darren. Then she said something Selina never expected. That will change. Selina frowned slightly. Ma, you'll continue your education here. Selina thought she heard wrong. Mrs. Alade continued calmly. You're intelligent. I can see it already. Wasting that would be foolish. Emotion rose unexpectedly inside Selina's chest. Nobody had spoken about her future in years. People only spoke about her usefulness, not potential, not dreams. Useful. That was all she had become. Darren leaned against the doorway. And maybe we should get her proper art materials too. Selina looked at him quickly. No, sir, that's not necessary. Why? Because she struggled for words. People don't spend money on me. The room became quiet. Mrs. Alade's expression softened for the first time. Well, she said firmly, they should have. That night, Selina cried silently under her blanket, not because of pain, because kindness felt unfamiliar, and unfamiliar things were dangerous. The following week changed everything. A small desk was placed inside her room. A second-hand laptop arrived. Internet classes were arranged. Art supplies appeared neatly packaged beside her bed. Selina stared at them for nearly 10 minutes before touching anything. It felt unreal. Bissy entered the room carrying towels and nearly screamed, Jesus Christ, are these all yours? Selina nodded slowly. Bissy dropped the towels dramatically. See my life. Selina laughed unexpectedly. A real laugh. The sound shocked even her. Bissy pointed accusingly. So you know how to smile? Selina covered her mouth immediately, embarrassed. But Bissy smiled warmly. There you are, human being. Later that evening, Darren found Selina outside sketching near the garden. You hold your pencil like someone afraid it'll be taken away, he said casually. She looked up quickly. What? The grip? He pointed. Too tense. Selina relaxed slightly. Sorry. You apologize too much. She looked back at the sketchbook quietly. After a moment, Darren sat beside her. What happened to you? The question came gently. That made it worse. Selina's fingers tightened around the pencil. I told you. I had an accident. Darren studied her face carefully. You know what I think? Her heart skipped nervously. I think whatever hurt you happened long before any accident. Selina stopped breathing for a second. Because he was right. Pain had lived inside her long before she left home. Long before she became Selina. Long before she disappeared. She stood abruptly. I should go finish my chores. Darren didn't stop her, but as she walked away, he spoke softly. You don't have to stay broken forever. That sentence followed her all night. Days turned into weeks. Selina improved rapidly in her classes. Her sketches became paintings. Her paintings became conversations. Even the workers in the mansion started stopping to watch her paint. There was something emotional inside her art that people couldn't explain. One evening, Darren entered the sitting room carrying one of her paintings. Mom, Mrs. Alade looked up from her tablet. What is it? We should sell these. Selina nearly dropped the tray in her hand. What? Darren placed the painting against the wall. No, seriously. People would buy this. Selina shook her head immediately. No one will pay for my drawings. They're not drawings, Darren corrected, but they're stories. Mrs. Alade studied the painting silently. Then she nodded slowly. He's right. Selina stared at both of them in disbelief. Darren smiled slightly. Congratulations, Selina. For what? For not knowing your life is about to change. And somewhere far away across the city, her past was already moving toward her.